Okay. We should be live here in a second. When this thing catches up. It is going to catch up, isn't it? There we go. We're on. Okay. Hello, everybody. Whoever's out there. Say hello. Let us know who's here with us today. It gets confusing looking at three screens. And they're all a little bit delayed from each other. Ooh, I made the camera move. So, who we got? Talk to us, people.
Happy Mother's Day.
Yeah, happy Mother's Day to all you mothers. Maybe that didn't sound quite right, but you know what I mean. They don't want to talk to us.
Maybe not.
Nobody there. They're having too much fun on Mother's Day. Oh, there's one. Janice. Hi, Janice.
Hi, Janice.
Hi, Jeannie.
Jeannie.
Think of Jeannie in a bottle.
Yeah, I know.
She lives in a bottle.
It just sort of came out wrong.
Did you?
My head saw the name, and my mouth voiced the wrong thing.
Right. So did you guys see our new opening screen for the countdown to the live? I just figured out how to do that. I'm very proud of myself that I figured that out this morning. I think it's kind of cool. What do you think? It's been a delay today.
Yeah.
Seems, or is it just me thinking that there's that much of a delay? Okay, so Jeannie and Janice, what are your plans for Mother's Day, if you have any? We don't.
No. I mean, you still have the mother.
Yes, I do still have a mother. Well, we'll talk about that in a minute.
I mean,
but
my mother passed away in 2009, so...
Yeah, true. Thanks, Janice. Yeah, I thought it was kind of cool. I often wondered how other people did that, because I go on to lives and see that, too. And actually, it's very, very easy. Hi, Andy.
Hi, Andy.
Jeannie says, I love the opening screen, the colors and the shapes. Yeah, I threw that together real quick. And a combination of like PowerPoint and some other things to make the graphic on it. Walter probably doesn't like his picture in it, but too bad. Beggars can't be choosers. Maybe we should take a new picture of that. So, did you have a good birthday, Andy?
Yeah. What, did you do anything special for your birthday, Andy?
Well, she was on Craft and Chat.
Yeah,
that was special enough. I mean, really. Can you have
something more personal?
Yeah. Don't have any plans, but relax. Well, I guess that's okay. Yeah, we don't have any plans either, since can't go over to visit my mother, but I did have a FaceTime call with her this morning. Okay, the camera seems to be... My leg is hitting it. And for some reason, didn't really... so.
Yeah, I used to, when my mother was still alive and she was still sane, before she got dementia, I used to go and buy her some flowers every year and bring them over because she always loved flowers. So.
Yeah, well, I always used to get my mother flowers. Actually, I used to buy my mother her flowers for like a couple of hanging pots and that, because she always liked to have hanging pots, usually fuchsia or impatiens, on their front doorstep. Jeannie says they celebrated last Sunday. Okay, and he says, besides Craft and Chat, I talked to my sister and son. Other than that, didn't do anything. Yep. Hi, Donna. Yeah, I know. Birthdays, when you get to a certain age, aren't as thrilling as they were when you were younger, right?
Yeah, I mean, a few years ago, like my sister and I used to exchange birthday cards all the time. And then it got to the point where we weren't really seeing each other that much. Well, I used to see her all the time when my mom was alive, but then after my mom passed away, I stopped really seeing her on a regular basis. I mean, we live in the same city. I talk to her all the time. But we didn't actually physically see each other that often. And so it got to the point, and I said to her, well, don't bother trying to get a card to me on my birthday. And it seems stupid to send one through the mail because it's just there. I said, I'd prefer if you just gave me a call on my birthday and wished me a happy birthday. And vice versa. Now we don't have to buy a card. And actually, it's a little bit more personal. You get phone calls.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't bother to send. No, I guess I sent my sister a birthday card last year. I don't send one to my brother. I think she sent me one, but really, birthday cards. I don't really care about getting birthday cards or anything like that anymore.
It used to be more fun when we were little.
Yeah, well, yeah, because it was gifts. Now there's just like, oh, happy birthday. Say it with cash. Anything.
And nowadays, but they charge for birthday cards. Wow.
Well, I've been saying.
I guess I'm just getting old.
Yeah, well, I went to. There's a friend of mine who's having a birthday next week, and since COVID, he used to come over every Thursday night, and we'd socialize and that, but we haven't done that in over a year, of course, because of COVID and longer. And so every Wednesday, I send him a little checking in on him on Wednesdays, kind of a thing. And his birthday's coming up next week. I'm never sure what day it is. I think it's the 14th of May, but I'm not sure. So I went online, thought I'd send him an electronic birthday card. Well, I went to the Blue Mountain cards. Well, no, they suck you right in because you see something you like, you set it all up, you do the personalization of it, and they're usually an animated card, right? And then just as you're about to finish touch it up, they want you to register and give your credit card number and take out a membership for a monthly membership for $5 or something, and it goes up from there. And I went,
they don't allow you just to buy the single card?
No.
Oh.
So I thought that one time Blue Mountain used to have free cards.
Well, obviously they buy stuff.
Yeah. So I got around it. I still got the card. But if I told you how I did it, I'd have to kill you. Have technology can do almost anything. Hi, Cindy. Hi, Wendy. So anyways, yeah, well, let's get started on the real stuff right now. So everybody saw the little opening screen, or some of you did anyways, that we had for the live chat, the little countdown. As I said, I'm very pleased with myself that I was able to figure out how to do that. I know for other people who do this on a regular basis, they're probably laughing their head off at me, but that's okay. So had a FaceTime call with my mother today at around 1 o'clock. Actually, I wasn't intending to do it. I had my weekly call on FaceTime earlier in the week. But then I got a call from one of the staff members over at the nursing home, and they said, would I like to have a FaceTime with Mom on Mother's Day? And I said, okay, sure, that's great. So we set it up, and yeah. So there she was, and I wished her happy Mother's Day. And my sister dropped off over at the nursing home, because we still can't go in, of course. She had gotten my mother from all of us a lily, but my mother said, but I didn't see the lily. My mother said it was very unusual, very nice, or something like that.
Maybe it wasn't a lily at all. It's just another flower.
Maybe. I didn't really ask my sister what kind of flower it was. I should ask her, because my mother always said my grandmother, her mother, hated lilies, white lilies. And I said, but in Grandma's wedding picture, which is a gorgeous picture, my grandmother's wedding gown, she got married in the late 1920s, I guess, possibly early 1930s, I don't know, but her gown is like Art Deco. It's a beautiful gown, and she and my grandfather look like all you need is a pitchfork, and you've got American Gothic, the painting in that one, because neither one looks particularly happy. And my grandmother's holding a bouquet of white lilies, and my mother said to me once, oh, never get your grandmother lilies, she absolutely hates lilies. And I said, they were her wedding bouquet. I have a feeling there was a story in that my mother didn't know much about. And then my mother always said, too, she didn't really like white lilies because of the smell. It always smelled like a funeral home. So my sister got her a lily. Well, it's a different type of lily, so I don't know what it smells like. I don't know what it looks like, whatever. But my mother seemed to think that was okay, so fine. And, of course, a couple of cards. My sister just signed our names to them and the whole bit. And she got my mother a box of chocolates. And my mother says, well, they're those Lindor chocolates, the round ones. I said, because I asked her, I said, did she get you Laura Secord? Those are my favorite. Laura Secord is a brand of chocolates here in Canada. And she absolutely loves Laura Secord chocolates. Especially there's one set called miniatures. Wouldn't really matter how big they are. My mother would scoff down the whole box anyways in a sitting. But she said, no, they were Lindor. And then I got thinking, well, yeah, because to get Laura Secord chocolates, the Laura Secord's chocolate store that we have in our area is not open right now because of COVID, because we're still in stay-at-home order.
It's in a mall. Actually,
it's in a shopping center.
They might have curbside pickup.
Well, maybe. I don't know. But then I figured, okay, well, the only place Lori would have be able to get her chocolates was probably at the local grocery store in her area, and that's why she got her Lindor. Well, I said, well, she didn't like those quite as much. And I said, and so you're not going to be eating them all. They're very rich, Mom. I said, you know.
They are they're very rich.
I said, like, you might want to, sparingly eat them. Well, I said, or you'll throw up. She says, I already did throw up. And I heard the staff member in the background kind of going, uh-huh. So there she is. I says, yeah, Mom, you scoffed down half the box, didn't you? Well, I don't have many left. That's what I figured. And
if they're those big round ones,
yeah,
I can't eat more than one of those.
I know. So I said to Mom, well, yep, I know you love your chocolate. So anyways, well, it's Mother's Day. If she wants to throw up, let her throw up. Anyways, what's Sandy say? Blue Mountain must have gone through an IPO for Wall Street. Yeah, probably did. So anyways, she seemed happy enough and everything. And then I texted my sister and I said to her, okay, I talked to Mom on FaceTime and she was saying what you got her. And I said, so, let me know what my half is and I'll just e-transfer you the money for it. My sister said, oh, don't worry about it. She didn't spend that much. And she said she had talked to Mom earlier in the day, I guess, on the phone. And she said, Mom said, oh, yeah, there was a bus coming to pick them all up. They were going somewhere. And so they were all waiting for the bus. And I said, she didn't say anything like that to me. And, of course, there wouldn't be a bus. They wouldn't be taking them anywhere because of COVID and the whole bit. And if they were taking them somewhere, they would have called me in advance to let me know that this was happening. So my sister says, well, I think she's losing it. And I said, well...
It's funny that she only seems to get those stories.
Yeah.
Maybe your sister's losing it.
Well, that's what I said. I said, only my sister hears these stories. My mother never says anything like this to me. So I'm thinking, is my sister losing it? She's younger than me.
Well, there are sometimes things like when my mom was in the nursing home, she would say stuff to my sister which she wouldn't say to me. And my sister would phone me up, Jessie or somebody, and say something, well, she said this. And I'd ask her about it, and it's like she didn't remember saying anything like that. Of course, my mother had dementia, but...
Well, I don't know. But anyways, there wasn't any bus taking my mother anywhere, and so, anyways, she's good. So, speaking of losing it, so, what's Walter working on? Same old, go get it.
Yeah, I finished my last class for the coat, and I've been dragging my butt trying to finish it. I finished this afternoon. I finished all the sewing on it. So I've got it all done with one exception. I have to still put my buttons on, which I'm kind of not looking forward to because if you screw up putting on the buttons, then the whole coat gets screwed up.
Oh.
So, you start putting holes in the wrong spot.
Well, don't do that.
No, I know that.
Don't do that.
So I just have to put. I'm just putting on snaps, but so other than that, it's pretty much done. I'll get it. It's all. And I realized after today when I tried it on that one of my pockets is a little
You're
bit off.
not supposed to tell people that. If you don't point it out, nobody would know, especially when you're wearing it. They're not going to notice it. It's not out that much.
So
get in the camera.
yeah, I'm getting camera. So anyway, my outside is done. Not that I can see. Okay, outside is done. The inside is done. Here, all lined. Where's my pocket?
I don't know.
Oh, there's my pocket. There. Let's see. Oh, there it is. And so I'll put it on.
Ooh. Put it on. Here, I'll move out of the way so you can get in closer.
it has lots of room in it. I've got, we call it, my ties on the inside. Move back a little bit. I'll do that. My zipper. Where's my zipper? Zip it up. Okay, that's it. We got just my cuffs. I need my cuffs and button on there so it scoots up, but other than that, it's done.
Thank God.
On to the next project.
Thank God it's done. Janice says it looks great. Yeah, it's been the never-ending coat here. Andy says looks really nice. It'll all go to his head. So, what's that take you to next then? What's on Monday night?
Next Monday night, actually we weren't going to have a class on Monday night, but we're doing something called a tropical shirt, which is actually a more casual short sleeve shirt where the collar is open and down. And so we're just going to go over the pattern on Monday. Usually the instructor has some customization on each of the patterns. And actually it's going to show us something interesting, which I was going to try and do on my own, but it'd be kind of nice to have some guidance, is how you match the pattern of your pocket so that they all match, so that it looks like you have an invisible pocket.
Oh.
You know, like you have an outside pocket
Yeah.
So you measure all the lines up so that it matches, so it doesn't look like you have a pocket.
Don't touch my breasts. Yeah, okay, fine.
So we're gonna find that technique out, and which I kind of think I already know how to do it, but it'd be nice to get some instruction on that.
Yeah. Well, the finer points. So it looks pretty good, but I'm glad it's almost done because this seems like forever you've been working on this coat.
Oh God, it's about 8 weeks.
Yeah. So the next thing is what, a shirt?
We're doing this tropical short sleeve shirt.
Oh.
But it has, you know how normally the ones that I do have a button up at the top,
yeah,
like the one you're wearing.
Yeah.
Well, this one isn't got a button up on the top. It has like a V-neck on it.
Oh. So is there no buttons on it at all?
Yeah, there's buttons that go all the way up to where the V-neck is.
Oh.
And then the V-neck opens up.
Oh. Okay.
I don't know if I like it or not, but sometimes I'll get a design and I don't think I'll like it, but then once it's done, it's okay.
Okay. Whatever grabs you.
I mean, they all seem to think that they would like it because it's supposed to be a little bit more casual, so.
Yeah. Hi, Judy. Well, everybody loves your coat, so. Andy says looks really nice. Janice says it looks great. Jeannie says it's awesome. Donna says great job. Wendy says very, very nice. So, very nice.
Very nice.
It's lovely. It's lovely. It's got a crooked pocket, but it's lovely.
Yeah, I put it on today and I realized that one of the pockets looked a little off. And you'd think I would have noticed it before. But anyway, I looked at it. I took the ruler out and it's out by 2/8 of an inch on one side.
Say it isn't so. 2/8 of an inch. Oh my God. Well, 2/8 of an inch, that's a quarter.
That it's too late. I'm not trying to pull it apart to try and fix it. So.
That's a 1/4 inch.
Yeah, it is.
Well, that's a lot if you were quilting.
Yeah, I know.
I'm thinking of that one person in your class who has problems with 1/8 of an inch, and
that
Lord.
Yeah. There's one lady in her class that at every class she says the same thing. We'll have somebody, the instructor will say, "Okay, you have to." All our seams pretty much on pretty much every project are 3/8 of an inch. So the question always comes up: which is bigger, 3/8 of an inch or a quarter, or a 1/4 of an inch? And she always says, "Well, a quarter is bigger, isn't it?" Every time.
Actually, some of the Americans on here might not understand what you mean when you say 1/4 of an inch.
Yeah.
Because every video, I swear, that I watch about quilting has a when someone's talking about a quarter of an inch, they say 1/4 of an inch. 1/4. Which is the same thing, I know, but it just sounds strange because I have never heard anybody...
I've never heard a Canadian
Not a Canadian say 1/4 of an inch. We call it a quarter of an inch. I mean, it's still idiosyncrasy. I mean, it's the same thing, but I don't know, kind of different. Okay, what have I been working on? Well, you were talking about pockets, so I've got a rocket in my pocket. This is my retro rocket, which took a couple of days to make. It's just for fun. It's got that 50s vibe to it, but I really like this stand for it that the rocket sits on. I think it's kind of cool. Toys for big boys, as you know. And then for those who want to see practical things in a 3D printer, here's my flower pot. It looks like stone, but it's not. It is plastic. It's marble plastic. And I was thinking what I could do is I might take some of my crafting supplies, and I've got these rubs, and I thought if I go around maybe some of these parts, the reliefs in them, it'll pop out a little bit more and look like it's been antique, but I don't know yet whether I want to do that. But yes, so you can make practical things with a 3D printer. I got the hiccups.
Donna says yes, we say 1/4 of an inch. Are you from, I assume you're from the U.S.?
Yeah, Donna's from the U.S., yeah. Yeah, I don't know why it is that every video that I watch that comes out of the States, when they're talking about putting a quilt together, they're saying 1/4. 1/4 of an inch. I don't know, it's just weird, I guess, wherever. So the other thing it's not done yet, but the top is done. This is my embroidered quilt. I've talked about it on both the Idiot Quilter and on my vlog, but I got the pieces put together today, and I have to still layer it and quilt it, of course. But here, I'll just move back a bit so you can see it. Here it is.
It looks really nice.
Those flowers are all embroidered. Some are applique, but all embroidered in the machine, in the embroidery machine. So tomorrow I'm going to layer it. I'm going to start doing some... There's already some quilting in it. If you look at the white square, probably won't show up on the camera very well, no. It's already been quilted. The quilting machine did it. But what I think I'll do is what they call stitch in the ditch. I'll go around each square, and I might do some straight line stitching in the border parts as well. But yeah, this is, now I have to figure out, once I get it done, where I'm going to hang it, because I've got no wall space left in this house. But anyways, I'm really thrilled with the way it turned out. So that's what I've been up to. Plus, I've been working on the Strong and Free quilt, which I've shown some of the blocks of that on my vlog and on the Idiot Quilter as well. I haven't got much further with it. I was working on it during Craft and Chat this past week, and I did get a fair amount of it put together there, but that'll be the next thing that I'll concentrate more on once I get this one all quilted up. Thanks, Janice and Judy. So, yeah, actually, Janice, that's what I've been rooting since COVID. We have a big philodendron, and it's the only plant that I can't kill. And, of course, that's because I forget to water these things. But philodendrons are pretty forgiving when it comes to water. And I've been starting them. And I've got 2 pots already upstairs that I started, and I've got a couple in water that have already rooted. So I'm thinking that I may use this one for that one, too.
Didn't you start one to give to your mother?
Yeah, that was the original plan. I was going to put them on my mother's windowsill because, you know, even she might not be able to kill them. But then we can't go over there anymore, and the staff don't seem to water the plants at all. Well, they're busy with other things, and they probably don't.
Well, not only that, they don't think about it, and your mother doesn't happen to ask them to do it.
No, my mother doesn't water it. And when I go over there to visit her and say to her, "Okay, Mom, your plants need some water,"
yeah, I was going to do that.
She says, "Yeah, I was going to do that later." Yeah, right, Mom. No, you aren't. Thanks, Donna and Jeannie. So that's what I've been up to. So, off my list here. So this week, you'll find it in the show notes. There's a link to our latest So Chatty. And this time we fought our way through the mysteries of sewing machine needles. And the reason I say fight our way through it is we did some research because it is a very confusing topic. And I'm sure many of you that sew know that. Because there isn't really a strong standard in needle sizes. It does depend to a certain degree on manufacturing. And then, of course, the what kind of fabric you're going to be sewing in and all that kind of stuff. So we tried to demystify it as best that we could. But you have to remember, anytime that we do a Sew Chatty, we always have the disclaimer. We're not experts. It's what we've learned and we're still learning as we work our way through all this kind of stuff. So we have some people, though, who don't get that. For example, okay, I know they're looking for help, and I know that we put this up there to help people.
And we're willing to help.
And we're willing to help. But sometimes you have to put in a little bit of effort yourself. I get people asking me questions about things, and it's like I'm a sewing repair salesman or sewing machine repairman or something like that, and I'm not, and we're not. Or that, we're professional tailors or seamstresses or whatever you want to call it. We're not. We just know what we know. But we do a lot of research on our own. But it's like these people don't want to, like Google. Google's right there in front of you. Type it in Google. Look around. Looking for a tutorial? Go to YouTube. Type it in the search bar. There's all kinds of stuff that's going to come up. That's how I figure out things.
That's how I figure out things, too. I try to look up stuff and try and figure it out as best I can online, especially right now. It's not like you can run to your local sewing, like in our area where everything's kind of locked down. So it's not like I can run to my local sewing machine store or whatever and ask them some advice on something.
No, but the thing that really, I don't mind. If I can answer the question, I will answer the question. I don't mind doing that at all. But then you get some people who demand. They demand. Like, tell me this because I'm about to order this and I'm spending a lot of money on it. Well, it sucks to be you.
Well, or there's that, or the thing is they'll ask you a question, but you don't know what specific application you're using it for. So they would say, I want you to tell me what kind of this product that I need, and how much do I need of it, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know what you're using it for.
No, and they don't tell you. But then they get belligerent. That's the part I have a problem with. It's like, you're not answering my question. What you're saying is, you're not giving me the answer I want. Well, I don't know what answer you want. And if you know the answer already, then why are you asking me too? Like, do some research. I don't mind. I mean, I have asked people questions before. I've said, I've found this and I've looked for this and this is what I was told. I just wonder, what do you think? Or am I on the right track? But I can't answer a question in a vacuum. Like, throw me a bone here. I have to have more information. So, I find it rude. I just find it rude.
Well, see, the internet is like kind of conducive of that, right? It's easy for people to leave a comment that they wouldn't say to you face to face, or like a negative comment. Or even somebody sending you a message might send you a complaint or something like that they wouldn't necessarily do when they do face to face. It's like on Twitter. I've been reading some Twitter stuff, and people say all kinds of rude things on there that they probably would never have said to somebody face to face.
No, I know.
And the internet seems to open itself up for that sort of thing.
Because you're somewhat anonymous.
Right, yeah.
Like a lot of people don't even go on with their real name. They have a nickname or something like that. Well, fine. I get that. There's the whole issue of privacy and all of that kind of stuff. But people who put up stuff on YouTube or other areas where they're discussing something, they're just sharing the knowledge they have. You have to assess that knowledge. Is this, one, helping you? Two, did it tell you something you didn't know already? Or, is this directing you in a way where you can find the information? I mean, I'm not going to do the research for somebody, and I have done that. And then you get hit right between the eyes after you've done that. Well, that's not the way that I thought it would be done. Then why are you asking me for my opinion about it? Then you obviously have your mind already made up.
I don't mind it if somebody asks me a question, especially if it's somebody I know very well, asks me a question, I'll go out of my way to try and help them out. But sometimes they don't ask me the right question either.
Well, so. No, and then you write back and go, okay, and this has happened to me on more than one occasion. I write back and go, okay, I'm sorry, I can't really answer your question given the information that you've written down. Can you tell me more? And I'll ask specifically, like, what fabric are you using? Or what's the end product? Or that kind of thing. Like, give me more information. Then I'll get an answer back that's like, well, I've already told you. This is what I'm doing. And they just repeat what they've already asked. No, I wouldn't be asking you this question. I got better things to do with my time. And I will admit that I've had a few that have pissed me off so badly that I just ignore them. In fact, in one case, this is back a while ago, there was a person that was being very rude, very belligerent, and as if I had sold them something and I wasn't standing behind my product. I blocked them. I knocked them off my YouTube channel and I blocked them because I've had it with them. They were just being belligerent. So,
I mean,
I don't like to do that.
It's very rare, but it's once in a while you get a nutcase.
Well, yeah. I mean, we used to have a nutcase on here, and some of you that have been with us for a long time, she used to come on and she would say all kinds of weird things. She had a website. I went and checked out her website. She was into all kinds of weird things and whatnot. And she got belligerent with us. And I'd had it. I finally had it with her, and I blocked her. That was about a couple of years ago. Now, I think. Yeah, it was before COVID. So, it's funny. Now we date everything as before COVID or after COVID, But, so BC now means before COVID. And AD will mean after disease. I don't know. But, I don't know. It gets my goat sometimes. And the reason I'm saying this today is because I had one that I've been dealing with over the last couple of days. And I'm just about done with this individual. I mean, I get it that these people are struggling and they're trying to find out things. But there's a nice way to ask, for one thing. And, yeah, I don't know. But anyways, yeah, Janice, sounds like some people are too lazy to do their own research. Well,
and sometimes you need to think outside the box, too.
Yeah, that's the
other thing. Like, with sewing machines and stuff, too, is, like we were talking earlier this week about needles. And just because a needle says a top stitch needle doesn't necessarily mean that that's the kind of needle that you have to use for top stitching. No. It's just whatever seems to work best for your machine and the thread you're using type thing. I know of somebody that went to the dealer and was complaining that they were thinking they only had one sewing machine and they needed to do a coat like the one we were doing, and then they needed to do they thought they needed two machines, one to do top stitching and one to do regular sewing, and they ended up actually the dealer said to them, the lady at the store said to them, why don't you just use one needle for everything?
I'm not paying attention to you right now.
Just find a needle. Just find a needle that works for your thread and your fabric that you can use all the time without switching it out.
Yeah, I don't know what you just said because I'm looking at comments. B and D says, "Hi, is anyone else getting an echo?" And Donna says, "Yes." And I'm trying to figure out Is anybody else getting an echo? Because if I turn on my speaker, because I'm looking at comments, B and D says, "Hi, is anyone else getting an echo?" And Donna says, "Yes." And I'm trying to figure out, is anybody? And I don't know why that is.
Now, is the microphone on here?
Yeah, this is the mic here.
And there's a mic up there.
Where's there a mic?
In your...
yeah, that's turned off. It should be turned off. Yeah, it's off. Yeah, everybody's getting an echo. Okay, are you getting an echo right now? Yeah, it's off. Yeah, everybody's getting an echo. Okay, are you getting an echo right now?
I should turn this on and go into the other room.
Just a second. I'm just seeing if this is going. Yeah, it's off. Okay, that now you're going to get a bad echo here for a second because I turned something on and just turned it off. Okay, are you getting an echo right now?
I should turn this on and go into the other room.
Just a second. I'm just seeing if this is going. Okay, that now you're going to get a bad echo here for a second because I turned something on and just turned it off. Okay, are you getting an echo right now? Dennis says a tiny echo. Just a second, I'm just seeing if this is. Yeah, you're going to get a bad echo here for a second because I turned something on and just turned it off. Okay, sorry people, I'm just playing around here for a second. Dennis says a tiny echo. Okay, let's see if that makes it any better because I don't know why there is an echo. Unless it's because, okay. What's that? Okay, I don't know. I may have fixed that now. Just ignore that. That's coming up there, everybody. Okay. I may have fixed that now. Just ignore that. That's coming up there, everybody. Okay. I may have fixed that now. Okay. Why is it every week there's something new? Oh, thanks, Andy. Dennis says it's not a big issue, at least for him. Andy says it's almost like feedback when you listen, but you're listening by telephone and by computer at the same time. Now, I did have something, turned on. Maybe I get rid of this. Okay, well, I don't know if that's going to make anything better or not. Okay, so are we getting an echo now? Just let me know, because I just turned one other thing off, so I don't know if that was contributing to it or not. Okay, we'll see now if this is... Now, is that working? I don't know if I turned off. Okay, we'll see now. I think I fixed the problem. Now, is that working? Yeah, I think I fixed the problem, people. I had two microphones on with the webcam.
Hmm.
Are you hearing everything okay?
I still hear an echo.
Well, there's a time delay.
Mm-hmm.
Do you hear an echo now? Are you hearing an echo now?
No, I hear it. It's fine now.
Okay, so I know what the problem was. All right, great. Okay, sorry, people. Technical problems beyond our control. Not really. I just fixed it. Okay. All right, everybody's good. So thanks for letting us know about that, B&D, because I had no idea that that was happening. Because we can't hear ourselves in here, because if we turn on something so that we can hear it, then you're going to get the feedback problem. So anyways, that's good. All right. Moving on. What were we talking about? We were bitching about people bitching at me when they don't get the right answer. Well, enough about that. So we had Craft and Chat this past week, and we had a lot of, a lot.
I think had a couple more.
I think we almost doubled our number, which meant we had about 10 people or something like that. And that was great. We had some new people on there that we hadn't had before, and that was nice. And it would be, yeah. So, the next one will be the first Wednesday in June. So the more the merrier. Tell your friends, tell your family. But it was fun. I always have a good time on it. And I
actually get something done.
Yeah, I actually got. I
got my cuffs done on my coat.
Yeah. But I will be honest. Every time that I go to do Craft and Chat, there is a little part of me inside goes, "Oh, do I really want to do this?" But because I said I was going to do it, I do it. And once I get going with it, I'm fine with it. The time just flies right by, so that's good. So I hope other people enjoy the time as well. Well, I guess if they don't, they wouldn't come back. So that was this week. Let's see. Okay. We've been doing, speaking of research, and when I say research, I'm talking about Walter. So you know how I talked there, I don't know, was it last week, a couple of weeks ago, about these river cruises in the States from Memphis to Nashville, Tennessee, and they're geared towards people who sew, and they're putting celebrities on there to do nothing except be celebrities, like that one that comes from our area, Niagara Falls, kind of a thing. She's going on there on one of these in August the 1st, and I said how I thought this was premature and that kind of thing. Well, guess what? There's a bunch of them with different sewing personalities on them. It's all coming from the same cruise line. They all have the same itinerary and a little bit.
And it's always, it seems to be the same travel agency that's doing the organization.
Yeah. So I don't want to call it a scam, but what I think they are doing is they're taking advantage of people's, one, COVID fatigue, wanting to travel, and two, they're picking on a very specialized group, sewers. I don't know why they would be picking on people who sew to go on this. But basically, the celebrities that they've hired, and I don't know what the incentive is. I don't know if these people have to pay their own way or if they're getting a freebie. I suspect there's some kind of kickback there or whatever, incentive to do this, because they're not running any actual workshops. They're, at least the one that Laura from So Very Easy was talking about, she's going to be there. They're not doing sewing classes. She talked about sort of this casual, let's go up on the deck and have a glass of wine and do some hand sewing. She's going to sign her book that she has out, and she's going to do a trunk show. And the one from Schmidt's Needles that's going to be on there at the same time, she's doing like basically a little seminar about Schmidt's Needles products. So that's kind of a sell job. At least that's what I'm getting the feeling of. I could be completely wrong. Laura didn't seem to have any idea how many people were going to be on this, what they could accommodate. It seems a little bit odd. It sounds like a company that is trying to recover from COVID and, to get people. It's not a cheap cruise. It's what, $4,000? You said?
I think the rooms start at around four. I can't remember exactly, but the rooms start at around 4,000, double occupancy. So
Yeah.
I don't know how that works if you're single.
Hi, Fidel.
And so for a week, I mean, that's about the price for a week cruise type thing.
Was that American
on a
or
riverboat? It's American price.
So that's more than $4,000 then for us.
Yeah. So, but that's for like your basic room. The more, the nicer room you have, like if you want a room with a balcony or a suite or something, it costs you significantly more. So it's not a cheap.
It's not a cheap trip
to go on.
Plus, you may have to, if you're coming from our country, you have to fly there.
Yeah.
And what was the other thing I was going to say about that too? About that's double occupancy as well.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So
I don't know what they charge you for single occupancy. I mean, I just sort of briefly looked at what prices and that stuff were, and they still have some COVID restrictions, like supposedly everywhere you're on the ship, you're supposed to wear a mask. And they're not specifically saying that you have to be have a vaccine, but they say that you need to be tested before you get on the ship type thing. So
I don't know. It just, to me, sounds like a business proposition, and they're trying to get people attracted to it by offering these sewing personalities to come on.
I don't know. To me, I think it's a little bit risky to take something like that right now. Not to the point where, like you're going to necessarily die if you're going to go on it. But like, I mean, you may get sick. What happens if you get sick halfway through the cruise? Do you forfeit the rest of it? I guess that's why you get cruise insurance or whatever. I don't know if companies are, if insurance companies are covering vacations right now either. So I don't know how all that works.
I don't know. Andy said if the cruise gets canceled, I wonder what kind of problems people will have trying to get reimbursed. Yeah,
I know. Like Dennis said, I mean, to me, it's kind of an expensive holiday to go on. Visit on a cruise
to go from a cruise that goes from Memphis to Nashville. I don't know. We've been to Memphis. We've been to Nashville.
I bet okay. It's not really probably that exotic for a lot of Americans, and maybe it might be more exotic for some Canadians because of the location. Or if people that you would go outside the country to do that. But how many travelers right now are allowed to travel from one country to another?
Well, that's the other thing for any Canadians that might be. And that was my original argument with Laura pushing this.
Yeah.
But now it just seems that this is the reason she didn't seem to be able to answer people's questions as to, the number of people, the accommodation, all the finer points of this cruise is simply that someone reached out to her.
Mm-hmm.
Is what it sounds like. I could be completely wrong. I don't know. But it sounds like somebody reached out to her and said, hey, we're going to do this, and you're this, and we'd love to have you join us, and here's the incentive for joining us, and for you to attract other people because you're a fairly big name in this community. So...
yeah, it depends on what kind of people you're expecting to get on this cruise. I could see it not being as much of an incentive for Americans to go on because
quite frankly, I don't see it as a big incentive for Canadians to go on.
Well, I don't know. Some people are like retired people that might want to do that, and it's an easy way to travel.
Would you spend $4,000 to go from Memphis to Nashville?
No, I wouldn't. But somebody that lives in Germany might think it's exotic.
Well, maybe, but maybe nobody. But then the Germany may not be able to come over.
Yeah, well, that's it. So they're trying to create an incentive for people that are willing to travel now to do something.
Okay, here's the other thing then. Laura is Canadian.
Mm-hmm.
There are tons of American quilters that are big names, more so than in Canada. You've got Donnie, what's her name? Jenny Doan from Missouri Star Quill. You've got, well, there's so many there.
Yeah,
Why aren't they being, I don't know.
I don't know. Well, maybe they were approached and nobody would grasp onto it.
Which means, why? Why?
Why? Because probably most people
Is she the weakest link?
Maybe, yeah.
What? I don't know.
Well, there's another person that I found online that's offering a cruise at a different date.
Yeah, I know.
That's a sewing group.
But where's the person, the celebrity they're coming from? Is she American or Canadian?
She's American. And they do some sort of a sewing channel or something like that.
You know what I think they did? I think that someone did the research and found mailing addresses or email addresses for what they consider to be people. Probably, you could go on YouTube, you could do a search for anybody that gets like a certain number or have a certain number of subscribers in the whole bit. Create a list from that, a mailing list. Send out to them an email saying, hey, we're planning this and whatnot because, you know, you're somebody in the community that everybody knows and that. We'd love to invite you to join us for this in the whole bit. I don't know.
Anyway, it just seems odd.
Yeah, it just seems odd. So what's Donna says, don't offer enough to get me to go, better off spending money at home. Yeah. And Dennis says, there's a lot more I would rather do with 4,000. Yeah. And Dennis says, I don't think it's more than about 200 miles. Yeah, slow boat to Nashville, I guess. And he says, why would I pay that much money when I could drive the distance in a little over 3 hours? Yeah. Well, of course, for Canadians, it's a little further than that. But nevertheless, I don't know.
I don't know. Some people do weird things for holidays. So.
I don't want to say anything negative about Memphis or Nashville, but we've been there. I wasn't impressed by either thing. Now, mind you, I'm not a lover of Elvis Presley. We did go to Graceland when we were in Memphis.
We're not a big country and western fans.
And we're not big country and western fans. So, you know, but we did, you know, we looked at the Grand Ole Opry. We stayed in the Grand Ole Opry Hotel, you know, kind of a thing. But, you know, I could think of a lot of other places I would rather go to. As, you know, Dennis says, I could do other trips for $4,000 that I think would be more exciting than that. But
well, you got to remember that it's $4,000. That doesn't give you. That isn't the cost of the transportation to get you there.
No, true.
So that's just the cruise.
But whatever. I just found the whole thing that there's a lot more to it.
I think this company's hurting money wise, and they're grasping at straws to try to get people interested in a vacation.
Yeah, I'm sure that's probably what it is. Okay, but anyways. So, speaking of... No, I'm not going to say this word in conjunction with this. Okay, you have heard me mention before, or us talk on here before, about a YouTube channel that's very, very popular. I watch it all the time, called Curiosity Inc. It's a guy with a sort of a curiosity shop, antique shop, you know, old things shop in Alberta, Canada, and he has a very successful YouTube channel. He has a huge subscriber base, and every video he puts up, it just racks it up, the numbers watching it.
Got thousands and thousands of people watch.
And his videos are interesting and they're good. You know, there's nothing, I'm not saying anything against him about that, okay? However, Walter found a YouTube video.
Yeah, actually, I always wondered, I mean, people that have YouTube channels will monetize it, and then you get a certain amount of money back from the number of people that view it because the commercial plays at one point in time or another. And we get a little bit from this channel, but it's nothing.
Well, I've always been upfront about what I get on here. I am monetized. And for the advertisements that come up, I make a little. So on average, at one point it was taking me 4 months to make 100 Canadian dollars. Okay? It's gotten better over time. Now I can usually make about 100 Canadian dollars in a month's time from advertising. That's all I make. Okay? But I'm small potatoes.
Yeah, so we always wondered, you know, when you see these videos on YouTube that get thousands and thousands of viewers,
How much they're making.
how much they're making. So we get usually, 100 or 200 people watching in a video for...
Yeah, well, I'm really ecstatic when one of my videos goes over 200 views in a week. Yeah. So that's why I said I'm small potatoes.
But then you see people that have thousands and thousands of views.
In 1 hour, they have
So you kind of
1,500
wonder,
views.
okay, how much are they making from that? So
Yeah.
I just went on YouTube and said, okay, how much does this YouTube company, how much do they make? And I guess there's some guy that goes on and reviews different YouTube channels and give you an estimate of how much they're making.
Yeah. So he did it for Curiosity Inc. And this video was posted in January of this year. By his estimate, and he had it broken down by the average number of views per video that Curiosity Inc. gets, all that, and worked it out. He worked it out that Curiosity Inc. was bringing in, on average, over 250,000 Canadian dollars a year. $250,000 in a year.
Wow.
Monthly, it was broke down to what? About
21,000.
22,000 a month? Holy crap. Well, good. Good for the guy who runs Curiosity Inc. That's, great. But here's the problem I have. So if for sure he was bringing that in, let's say, and I have some skepticism here, okay, then he has Super Chat on. And every week he does a live where Super Chat is on, and I have watched the ka-ching go through. Sometimes he makes maybe only $50 in an hour. There have been times, though, where I've been adding it up as it comes up, and he's made close to $500 in an hour from people just giving him money for no reason. Now, I've talked about this before. And, if I was to turn on Super Chat on my channel, one, I probably wouldn't make a nickel out of it. Two, I would feel I'm getting money for nothing. Now, some people who put on Super Chat say, thank you for this money. It's what keeps the channel going. Well, maybe if they're running it as a business, maybe that's important for them. But, I think the vast majority of content creators are doing it like I do. It's a hobby. Okay? So, yeah, that's why I have monetization turned on for the ads, because that money is not coming from anybody except Google. And what the money they make from selling, ad space, basically, to, big corporations and one like that. But it's not coming from the average viewer. And I have never asked anybody for money on here. And I've said that before. I won't do it. Okay? Because I feel I need to give you something back. If you give me money, then you're purchasing something. And I really don't believe that my videos are, giving back fairly if people were to give me money. So Super Chat is not on. But he has Super Chat on. And people do that. Also, he uses YouTube, and this is clever. I'm not faulting him for this at all. This is clever. He uses YouTube to advertise what he has in his store and new acquisitions he's made. And he makes a lot of money from that. But that is a business. And he actually has said this. He says, I do that, he said, because it gets out to more people. And advertising in the more conventional ways of doing it is very, very expensive. So yeah, he's a very clever businessman. And I get that. And I don't fault him for that. Because he is giving something back for, he's advertising what he's got on there. He's keeping people entertained. If somebody sees something that they like, they know how to contact him, and they buy it. And that's
actually, it's
fine.
very smart.
Very smart. That's why I said it's very, very smart. But then he always also puts into his videos, I'm trying to raise money to do this. Now, sometimes he gives money to charity as well. And I think that's great of him to do that. But his latest project is they just bought 3.2 acres of land that they're going to build a house on. They're going to build their dream house. And he wanted something like this because then he could have a bigger garage, because he does sort of collect and deal with cars and things. Plus, he wanted a big workshop. Well, yeah, because he's got a business where, he needs to clean up the things he buys at times and restore them and things like that. So, yeah, I get that. He's also building another building next door to his store as well that he's going to open up. And that's fine. But he's getting all this money from everything else he does. And if he actually is getting over $250,000 in 1 year from YouTube, wow.
That's a real bonus.
That's a bonus. But then don't be putting it out there to people like you're trying to figure out how you're going to finance this and what you're going to do here with that and all that kind of stuff. He's very good at the way he presents that. It's not in your face. It's very subtle, but it's thought out. He is extremely clever. Now, I'm not saying he's a scam artist. I'm not saying he's doing anything illegal. Not at all. I watch him all the time. I love his videos. Okay? It's basically reality TV in a way with this. In fact, I think he said once he'd been approached to do this as a
and
he said no.
Like the Learning Channel.
Something. And he said no, which was probably a smart move on his
part
too.
Because he probably makes more money doing it.
Well, also he controls the content.
Yeah.
If he went on something like that, he probably wouldn't have the control he has now. But I just was flabbergasted with these statistics. And I'll admit, I'm a little jealous too, but that's just the way it is. And it is, for him, it is a business. It is a business, and very successful business, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, with that.
Well, there's lots of content providers that make tons and tons and tons.
Oh, yeah.
Of money.
I've just seen here, what did people say? Janice says, we all need to share your videos so you can get more watching. Well, that would be nice. Thank you.
Yeah.
But there's something.
Then there's the other thing is do you necessarily want thousands of people watching? Like, at least right now,
my ego does.
The people that come up here, and that there's a small enough crowd on here that we've gotten to know you. So
yeah.
And especially when you do the craft and chat and stuff.
Yeah.
It's more personal.
Hi, Roy.
When you have thousands and thousands of people viewing
it doesn't, no.
Then it becomes a lot more impersonal.
And I was saying earlier that people write comments and they ask you for this, and the other thing, and they're kind of demanding in the whole bit. Well, Alex has this all the time because he's talked about it. People contact and they get upset because he hasn't sent them back a response instantaneously. Well, if you've got the numbers of viewers that he has, how can he? He'd need someone full-time to do that kind of thing. And I think that's something that some people don't realize with it. Whereas, for me, the number of comments that I get or questions I get in a given week, I can easily handle them. And any of you that have ever written to me, you've probably realized you get a message back immediately.
Says the site socialblade.com will give you an idea of what a channel means.
Oh, yeah? Oh. Okay. I have to check that out. But you also know something else that I don't do. You never hear me say in a video, if you like the video, give me a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you'll be reminded when the new video comes up. I have never said that. I never do. Because I'm not begging, for one thing. And that, to me, people who do that are really looking at the dollar amount that they're bringing in. I don't do that because this is a hobby. It's what it is. And as Walter said, right now, the people that we're most interested in are the people right now in our chat, our regulars. Some of you have been with us for quite a while, and we appreciate that. But I just said to somebody earlier today, they sent me an email, and I sent one back, and I said, I consider you a friend. Even though we haven't met physically, only virtually, I consider you a friend. And made a lot of friends on here. I mean, you put up with us. And when I say you put up with us, you put up with me. I know you tune in every week just to see Walter. You can have him. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. But anyways, so actually just on an aside here, a little tangent. I watch a YouTube channel called The Cabin Boys. Cabin Boy Knits. It's a couple of guys that live about an hour and a half to the east of us, and they're knitters, and they dye wool, and they do a weekly broadcast too. They don't do a live, and they're expanding their channel. They get a lot of views, but they just announced on the latest one that they're in the top 60 of YouTube channels, of ones that do knitting channels. So I looked them up, and yeah, they're in that grouping, and they were thrilled with that. And yeah, I would be too. I look for me. I'm not in there. Not at all.
Yeah, but what category are you in?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
You started off as crafting.
Yeah.
And then you're now sort of into quilting.
Yeah.
And you sort of do both.
Yeah, I do everything. But yeah, I know. It's neither here nor there. But you know, sometimes your ego needs a little lift. What can I say from it all? So anyways, I just thought back to this Curiosity Inc. or what people make. I'm going to check this out.
It's amazing what some people can make on
yeah. I don't do it for a job. We don't do it to make money.
It's sort of like a minor hobby that gives you a little bit of a kickback.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't have a Patreon. I'm not going that route. And then there's a one on here on YouTube that, you know, people can subscribe to for $4.95 or something a month or something like that. I don't know how that one actually works. I'm not doing it. Actually, if I start to charge for any of this stuff, I think the few people I have now that watch us would probably drop right off. So we'd be talking to ourselves. So anyways, just thought that was kind of interesting. Okay, so let's move to the news, shall we? What's new? Well, our government sucks. At both the federal and provincial level, we are still supposedly at a stay-at-home order and lockdown. I guess we're the only people that really realize that we're in that, because a lot of people seem to
we went out for a drive yesterday. Well, it was Saturday, and we went to actually an area that's a conservation area that we were going to go for a walk in. But the parking lot was overflowing.
Got new boots and everything.
So we decided, no, we're better off go during the week when it's less people there. And then we drove around. We went to a Dutch grocery store to stock up on Dutch supplies.
And when he says stock up on Dutch supplies, he means salted licorice.
Yeah, and so then I
had to have my cookies.
Yeah, and they have cookies and stuff like that. So we got that. We went, but on our way there, we observed parking lots that were packed with people. And since we're supposed to be at a stay-at-home lockdown, it seems to me awfully weird that it's supposedly, obviously, we're the only ones that are actually at home most of the time.
Yeah. I mean, so now our numbers have been sort of bouncing all over the place. I mean, it's kind of sad when you hear on the news, ooh, we're below 4,000 cases
in a day.
In a day. We haven't been that low in 2 weeks or something like this.
So now we've been bouncing around slightly below 3,000 and slightly above 3,000.
Yeah. And that supposedly is good. Yeah, good.
Well, no, actually, it's not good.
But it's not good. But they try to make it sound like, oh, yeah, your government's working for you and the whole bit. Now, you're going to watch. After this weekend, in about another week or so's time, our numbers will be up again because everybody's got to go off and see mom.
Yeah, well, what happened was we drove by a nursery, which is a garden center, and it was packed to the rafters.
Got to get mom flowers.
Yeah, so
okay, fine. Can't you why do you have to wait for one day in the year to show your mother you care? Like, shouldn't that be ongoing? I don't know. But anyways, we're not doing well as a country right now. And in Alberta, oh my God, that's where all the rednecks live, isn't it? Are in Alberta, I swear. They're having protests against stay-at-home orders, against vaccines, against masks. Okay, we've been down this road, have we not? How stupid can you be? And what was it? They have the highest per...
They supposedly have the highest infection rate of all of North America.
Like, don't go to Alberta anytime soon. As if you could.
Considering they only have a 5 million population, they have a huge number of cases.
They have more than we do. Ontario has a population of 14 million. And they have 5 million? And they have
over 2,000 cases a day. So.
Yeah, they have over, 2,000 cases a day?
Yeah, 2,500.
Well, so do we.
Yeah, but we have 14 million. They have 5 million.
Yeah, okay, fine. Fine. Do the math. But, yeah. So, and meanwhile, our federal government, the provincial governments are all blaming the federal government. The federal government is all blaming the provincial governments. And so they're all sitting there. Our Ontario premier, he's an idiot. But one thing I'll agree with is he wants the federal government to shut down the airports from foreign travel. They've still been open. And of course, we've had flights from India. Yeah.
Well, technically, you're not allowed to come in if you're foreign. But if you're Canadian, they've been saying that you shouldn't travel, have non-essential travel, right? Whatever. I'm not sure what non-essential is.
Well, a lot of people don't seem to be clear on that either.
Some people think that vacation is an essential travel.
Yeah.
So anyway, so if you're Canadian and you go out of the country and you want to come back in, they're allowing you back in, but you have to quarantine and all that other stuff.
And nobody's doing that.
And nobody's doing that.
Nobody's enforcing it.
Yeah, there's no enforcement.
Like, oh yeah, you'll get fined. Yeah, there's nobody enforcing it. They're getting out of that. So, as long as that's going on.
And our land border, you can't drive into this is stupid. You can't drive into the United States if you're Canadian. And you have to say why you're going across that. You have to prove that it's essential. But if you get on a plane, you can fly there.
Yeah. Or you can walk across the border.
Yeah.
Apparently, people they're flying into Buffalo, like for us in Ontario. They're flying into Buffalo. They're taking a taxi across the border or up to the border, walking across because at Niagara Falls, there's a big bridge and it has a pedestrian side to it. So you can walk across the bridge. It's not that long. And then they pick up a taxi on the other side and they get taken to wherever they need to go to pick up their car or just take them home. And this kind of thing. Yeah, that would be expensive, a taxi ride, depending on how far you are from Niagara Falls. But needless to say, they're not paying for the hotel room. They're not being quarantined or doing it, and they're getting away with it. So provincial government here is putting pressure on the federal government to shut down the airport, and they're not doing it. Now, I like Justin Trudeau. He's our prime minister. His father was our prime minister of our country back in the 70s. Back in the 70s, we had a little crisis in Canada. It was called the October crisis or the FLQ crisis. And basically, it was the first time in Canada, really, that we had, and this was before the word terrorist became popular, that we had within our own borders a terrorist organization that actually did kill a couple of key people in government. And our prime minister at the time, Justin's father, shut us down. He put into place something called the War Measures Act, which gave government emergency powers. Today we still have it, but we don't call it the War Measures Act. It's called the Emergencies Power Act. And Trudeau, and it's basically where you can, as a federal government, say, this is what's going to be happening all across Canada. There'll be a curfew, there'll be no travel, and all this kind of stuff. And he has refused time and time again through this whole COVID thing to put that in place. I say chicken shit. His father wasn't chicken shit. Oh, yeah, his father wasn't popular for what he did at that point in time, but he was looking after the welfare of the country, which is his job as prime minister. His son, Justin, obviously does not have the same guts as his father did. And none of the politicians have any guts. They won't do anything that they should be doing.
Yeah, especially since there's going to be an election next year.
Yeah. So, there you go. No leadership whatsoever. And who's in the center of all this? Who's us? Us as in the people of Canada. So, anyways, yeah. So, moving on. That was what was in the news. So let's change to something more lighthearted. So what are we watching on TV? Well, of course, Handmaid's Tale Season 4 is on the air. It's not on any channels that we get at the moment, but as usual, we get it.
We find them.
Yeah, we there are ways. Anyways, as I've said before, if I told you how I do it, I'd have to kill you. Someone recommended last week Inside Number 9, which is a BBC production. Well, I found, again, through my sources, where I could download it. If you can find it and watch it, it is good. Really
It's sort
good.
of like a Black Mirror type thing.
But it's sort of got black humor in it.
Yeah, dark humor.
Yeah, dark humor. Well, that's what it's called. Dark humor, black humor, whatever. Sorry, it's not humor about black people. It's humor that's dark. Okay, fine. Let's be politically correct about literary terms, too, shall we? Everything's literary terms. But it's really good. It's worth watching. I think there's about 5 seasons of it. Yeah. We've only watched about the first
There's 5 seasons, right? There's only like 3 or 4 episodes per season.
Well, 6.
6 per season.
Something like that. And then there's a new show on, is it on Netflix or Prime? Netflix, called Jupiter's Legacy. We just finished watching season 1. We kind of blitzed it. Still not sure whether we like it.
I don't know. I thought it was kind of hokey.
It's kind of cheesy. It's about a bunch of people who become superheroes and how they become these.
And, to me, the filming looked somewhat unprofessional, like somebody did it.
Well, they filmed a lot of it in Toronto.
Yeah, well, it was sort of like your cheapo Canadian production.
Yeah, but I don't know. I liked the stuff with superheroes in it, but this one...
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I didn't really hate it. Walter slept through most of it, but then that's because of the time that we were watching it, and he sleeps through most things. So... because he doesn't go to bed till 3 o'clock in the morning because he's a bloody vampire. Jeez. Have we seen any decent movies on Netflix lately? We watched something last week.
We saw that, what's that? I can't remember. That Behind Closed Doors or Behind whatever. It was a thriller.
Yeah, I don't remember.
It wasn't that great.
That's why I don't remember.
It was good up until a certain point, and then it had a stupid ending.
Yeah. Okay, it didn't really register with me. That's how good it was.
Yeah.
Okay. So on YouTube, speaking of hilarious entertainment, this comes out of the United Kingdom. It's 2 guys who I think when before COVID actually did drag. In fact, they used to perform I found out, at a place in London called Halfway to Heaven, and we've been there. It's a little pub, but on Sunday afternoons they have a drag show. And they call it Halfway to Heaven because there is a gay bar,
a nightclub
called Heaven. And they are halfway between it and something else, so they call it Halfway to Heaven. Anyways, we've been there a couple of times in our travels before, and it's always quite good because, the thing I hate about drag shows, anybody can get up there, put on some makeup and a dress, and lip sync. But at this place I'm talking about, they actually do the real voices. They sing. They don't lip sync, and they're hilarious.
They center out people in the audience and cut them out.
Yeah, but anyways, there's these 2 guys, and they call this on YouTube Isolation Creations, and their description. I'll read you the description they've posted for it. It says, "What do you get when you isolate 2 actors, a bag of wigs, and plenty of creativity? You get Jamie Honeyborn, and Alan Gibbons, The Isolation Creations. When the UK went into lockdown, like everyone else, we spent a few days getting used to technology and the new normal of Zoom meetings in the home office. Then we started to get bored, so we decided to get back to our regular job of making people happy with some creativity. Every day, we are recreating or reimagining our favorite movies or TV shows using whatever we have around the house. We have transformed our home into a movie set and converted kitchen utensils and furniture into props. Our mission is to bring a smile or laugh to you during these really peculiar times. When life gives you lemons, cut them up and pop them in a G&T. Oh, gin and tonic. It's just about making ourselves laugh at the end of the day, and hopefully we are also making others laugh too. We all need a little joy and laughter in our lives right now. So I've been watching some of their shows, and they do parodies of, someone mentioned the Great British Sew Off, or whatever it's called, sewing show or something. They do a takeoff on that. They do takeoffs on musical groups like ABBA. All kinds of different things. They have a dating thing they do. It's hilarious. Of course, it's typical British humor as a way, and that's maybe not for everybody, I know. But you should check it out. It's called Isolation Creations. You just do a search in YouTube and you'll find it. It's something a little different, something kind of fun and amusing.
Okay, that movie we saw on Netflix was Things Seen and Heard.
Oh, okay. Wasn't that good?
It wasn't.
It was okay.
It was okay.
But the ending was kind of disappointing.
Yeah.
Like, there wasn't one. So, anyways. So, that's some things to check out. What's cooking?
What's the name of the channel?
I said. Oh, it's called Isolation Creations.
And it's on YouTube.
It's on YouTube. Yeah. Just do a search up in the search bar. You'll find it. It'll come up pretty readily. So speaking of which, then, that begs the question, which just a question. Do you think that our world is moving into a world that will become virtual? That we do everything virtually now. This is virtual. It's live, but it's virtual. That Isolation Creations is giving us a comic show, but it's virtual. We work virtually on Zoom, or those that work. We're retired, so we don't worry. We do classes. We do retreats. It's all virtual. Is this going to go away? I don't think it's going to go away.
I think it'll diminish to some degree, but I don't think it'll completely go away.
Yeah, it'll probably diminish.
We'll have what do you call it? I was a half-breed. What do you call it? More of an integration.
Yeah, I think so. I think that, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it's using technology in a very effective way instead of just things like Facebook or Twitter, where basically people just go on and rant about whatever they want to rant about, or show pictures of their dog.
A couple of weeks ago too. It's more of an it's an opportunity for people to get together that wouldn't normally get together from different areas of the world.
And I think it might actually, this is a very optimistic way of looking at it, but I think it might make the world a little smaller. I mean, our world, we've heard the expression, Marshall McLuhan, one of our great Canadian media people, he's dead now, said it, a global village, where technology has brought us closer and closer together. And I think right now through COVID, I think it has brought the world a little bit closer together as well. Now, what we choose to do with that closeness is another story, I suppose. But, we've met so many people through Zoom things and through this medium and that kind of thing. I already said, we call many of the people that are on here today friends. And yet, we've never sat down and had dinner with you or gone out for coffee or anything like that. So, I think it's a good thing. Janice says, I don't think we will be going back to what we knew as normal. This is the new normal. Yeah, I think so. Exactly. Good news about virtual environment. People might be more polite.
Well, actually,
Yeah.
live virtual environments, people are more polite.
Yeah.
But comment sections aren't.
Well, you see, what happens is the animosity, and being anonymous, doesn't exist in a live environment.
Yeah.
Like we had one on Craft and Chat the other day, came on and there was no sound and no video. All we had was a black screen with a name on there that I didn't recognize at all. In fact, it was just a bunch of letters. And I just about kicked the person off. Then I found out it was actually somebody that I do know that has been on lives before, but she was having a problem with her technology. So she wrote in the chat, "No, it's me," kind of a thing. But, I was going to get rid of them because I couldn't see them. And I don't want lurkers on there. So, like lurkers, when it's a Zoom, it's one thing. We have lurkers on here, okay, and that's fine. There are people who may not want to get involved in the conversation or whatever. That's fine. I don't have a problem with that, as long as they're not doing something underhanded or whatever. But on a Zoom, I want to see people. I don't like it. I guess because I think, if you won't show me your face, what's wrong with it? Are you that ugly? What's the problem here? Or whatever. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I think people tend to be a little bit more polite when they can look you in the eye, even if it's through a screen.
Yeah.
When they can't see you or you can't see them, then I think that's when some people might take some liberties that aren't necessarily positive liberties. But anyways, I just thought I'd bring that up. So, we're coming to the end of our time today. And thanks everybody for coming out to join us in the weekly thing, because if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't have this channel. And so give us a thumbs up. And no, I'm not saying that. And thanks for the super. Oh, we didn't have a super chat on. Okay, never mind.
Thanks for joining us on Mother's Day.
Yeah, on Mother's Day. So all you mothers out there, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. And there will be a couple of links in the show notes below. One for So Chatty episode this week where we talked about needles, as we already mentioned. And of course, as always, the Idiot Quilter episode 113.
Maybe you should actually, if you can, put on the link for that.
For Isolation Creations? Yeah, I can try and do that too with it. Okay, so everybody, enjoy the rest of your day.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next week, if not sooner. So, bye for now.
Bye.